Welcome back. About 70 high school athletes from Colorado will play football in college next year, and today is the day we sort out who is going where.
That's right. And 9 News Prep Sports reporter Carol Maloney is here with the details from National Signing Day. Any real surprises today?
You know what? Not really.
No.
Most of the athletes have verbally committed last November, and
Right.
today they just make it official by signing a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Of course, the big winner today is all the athletes who get to play ball and receive a free education. The big loser could possibly be our local collegiate program, who today had to watch as the big ones get away. Here's a rundown on where the top high school recruits from Colorado will be playing next fall.
Schools treat it like a pep rally, others like a press conference. Either way you look at it, for many athletes, this is the first day of the rest of their lives. Bo Scaife is one happy football player. Mullen senior tight end has been one of the most sought-after recruits in the nation, and his future is now, as today he officially becomes a Longhorn.
I've been waiting 4 years for this moment personally. I know I was real nervous, signing. It's just weird, just thinking about where I'm going to college. I'm dedicating my life for the next 5 years to the University of Texas.
Mullen's John Hawk changed his mind. Hawk committed to CU, but after Rick Neuheisel's sudden departure, the defensive lineman instead opted to play for Oklahoma. Mustang Vince Mitchell stayed with the Buffaloes, signing earlier today, as well did Corey Mosney of Broomfield. Mosney is the only other 9 News Denver Post blue chip recruit from the state that signed with the University of Colorado. Kip Sixberry from Mullen is heading to Kentucky. Sixberry will team up with Arvada West Brad Pyatt, who is also heading to KU. From Thomas Jefferson standout class of signees, lineman Terrell Bailey packs his bags for Idaho. And Ryan Haywood will spend his college days playing for the Texas Longhorns. Tillman Holloway from Faith Christian will join Haywood in Texas. Neil Ambron from Littleton is off to fight for the Irish in South Bend. The only quarterback in our blue chip list is Sean Coleman from Regis. Coleman committed to Nebraska, along with Loveland's Josh Davis. Finally, Mark Dreyer from Brighton stays home to play for CSU, and Boulder's Adam Dunsmore signs to play for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
So out of 14 of the most sought-after recruits from Colorado, only 3 of them decided to stay and play within the Colorado borders. And 6 athletes will be playing for other schools in the Big 12, CU's competition. Definitely a disturbing trend. So much more on 9 News at 5 with Ron Zappola. We'll take a closer look at athletes who committed to schools in Colorado and talk to some recruits who switched schools after Rick Neuheisel left CU, including Leroy Bias, who you're looking at right there. He decided and announced today, one of the surprising moments today, he decided to go to Kansas State, even though all along he'd been thinking CU.
Yeah, and now that's in the conference, so that doesn't help any. And when a lot of people are saying, well, Rick's leaving, it's not going to be a big deal, it did turn out to be a big deal for these recruits.
Well, it's like the next 4 years, they really wanted to take it seriously and look at all the options before they actually sign that piece of paper.
The timing was just bad.
Oh, yeah. We'll have so much more about this this weekend on the prep rally, and we'll go over a lot more signees, too.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be fun to watch, because this is a big moment for them. Great opportunity. Getting their college paid for.
Yeah.
What a deal.
He is a big defensive tackle from the state of Colorado. Only 4 players. Dryden Dunsmore from Ponderosa, a linebacker, along with Vince Mitchell, the offensive lineman from Mullen High School, who will be used as a fullback. He played fullback his sophomore year. Also, Corey Masuri from Broomfield. He's a linebacker. And a kid defensive end from Thomas Jefferson, Gabe Odenberg. Now, earlier today, Gary Barnett met with the media, and he said getting here late certainly was a problem as far as recruiting was concerned.
One of the things that young people can't handle, and a lot of us older guys too, is ambiguity, and it certainly set in this situation. Other schools, most of the other schools seized opportunity to play upon the predicament that the University of Colorado was in at the time, and our coaches.
No question the change presented problem. They lost some kids because of the coaching change, and let's take a look at one of them, Big John Hawk, who's a heck of a defensive tackle from Mullen High School. He had originally committed to CU, then he changed his mind and decided to go to Oklahoma. And this kid, Jason Gibney, a defensive back, all-stater, signed with Vanderbilt today, and he admitted he might have given CU a longer look if Gary Barnett had been the coach.
If he would have came a little earlier, I think it would have got a little more consideration, but it was so late I committed, and I was happy with my choice.
Tom, Barnett also said today there'd be some other kids still coming in. He made it clear. He said, hey, today's the first day they can sign, and we may get some more kids in here and sign with CU. They got 4 offensive linemen. They're all big guys, and he felt that was an area they really needed players. He said we probably could have used a quarterback, but the other regime didn't want one. Take a quick look at the field behind me here. They have torn up all the natural or the artificial turf and getting ready to put in new grass. That's a good sign here.
That'll be nice up there. All right, thanks. Mike Nolan up in Boulder. Now, meanwhile, up in Colorado State, Sonny Lubick was pleased with his new crop of recruits. 26 players signed on the dotted line, 9 of them local. The success in Fort Collins under Lubick has the Rams recruiting a better class of player every year.
We don't coach them up to say these things, but they want to come here because they felt comfortable. And, our new facility, so all the things add up a little bit to give us a chance that 5 years ago we couldn't have been in the game with a lot of guys.
If you want to see who's headed where or how your alma mater did in the recruiting, all the info's on our website. Just dial up www.kmgh.com. The World Alpine Championships in Vail battled those high winds today. I'll have that, as well as an explanation as to what started this last night. Stay tuned.
At Colorado Central Station Casino, we know the only thing better than one winner is lots of winners. That's why our $300,000 Big Buck Blowout has lots of free cash to give away. From Saturday, January 16th to Friday, February.
For Washington, well, things dropped off a bit at CU.
Yeah,
correct?
That's too bad, but not that surprising, I guess.
No, I don't think so, and Gary Barnett did the best he could, and we'll let you know how he did. Recruiting's really been an uphill battle for Gary Barnett and the Buffs. Rick Neuheisel left at the worst possible time, leaving Barnett to try and pick up the pieces of the 1999 recruiting class. Today being National Letter of Intent Day, the results are now in. Mark McIntosh with the lowdown from Boulder.
And this will be a very special class. It'll be a very special class to me, and I will always treat them that way.
Special in Gary Barnett's eyes because through all the turmoil of change, young men remain committed to the Buffs' black and gold, although several slipped away.
The nitty-gritty was, once you got through all the other stuff, was basically they liked Colorado, but they didn't know who I was.
CU has more returning starters, 16, than recruits, 14. But that's going to change.
We're going to petition the NCAA for some additional visitations. It's been done before. There's precedent set, and it happens just because of incidences like this. So we'll do that so that we can continue our recruiting into the spring.
While special to Barnett, his first recruiting class won't cause a ripple on the national scene. But ask CU's new coach if he cares about rankings.
The first recruiting class we ever had at Northwestern was ranked 82nd. We went to the Rose Bowl with those kids, so it doesn't make any difference to me.
In Boulder, Mark McIntosh, News 4 Sports.
The coaching change at CU didn't just affect the Buffs. Recruits across the state still can't believe how much it changed their plans. Our prep sports specialist Marcia Neville explains.
Signing day is always special, but this one was unusual. Call it the domino effect. Coach Rick Neuheisel leaves Boulder for Washington. Gary Barnett moves in to replace him from Northwestern, and Randy Walker takes over the Wildcats, leaving recruits like Smokey Hill's Leroy Bias to deal with the fallout.
Yeah, pretty wild. Just like mixed feelings, just like gut decisions and stuff.
CU was his original choice, but now he's going to Kansas State. Mullen's Vincent Mitchell did stay with the Buffs, but he couldn't convince teammate John Hawk to go along with him. Instead, the big guy's going to Oklahoma.
But after Neuheisel left, Oklahoma came at me pretty hard, and I really liked that. They were the first one to call Sunday morning, so I was really impressed with that.
Now, the domino effect may have hit the hardest at Thomas Jefferson High School. And the funny thing is, out of all the athletes they had signing Division I college letters of intent, before this week, none of them was scheduled to go to CU. Lineman Terrell Bailey had it the hardest. He'd given his commitment to Washington, but Neuheisel wouldn't honor it.
When it happened, basically it was just like a bomb that had been dropped on me. So, but now I'm just, just here, and I'm just ready to go up to Idaho.
And then there's Gabe Oderberg, the surprise Buff. He originally committed to Barnett at Northwestern.
It's been a whirlwind the whole time, but I'm excited where it's ended up. Definitely, I'm glad Coach Barnett's given me the chance to go up to CU and play for the team that I've been following my entire life and get to live a dream, basically.
The whirlwind finally ended with the stroke of a pen. Marcia Neville, prep specialist, News 4 Sports.
Even before Neuheisel left, CU had already lost out on two of the state's top players. Mullen's Bo Scaife and TJ's Ryan Haywood both headed to Texas. In Fort Collins, Sonny Lubick introduced his class of '99. As usual, the Rams scored well in-state. Rampart defensive back Dexter Wynn, one of 9 Colorado kids, headed up to Fort Collins. Also in the class, Brad Jones of TJ, who happily signed on the dotted line this morning. As always, Sonny's happy with his class.
I just think it was a good year for us. I think the future is bright. We've got a lot of good young players on our football team right now. Maybe 2 or 3 of these people who are coming in will be able to come up and help us next year. And I think the future is very strong for Colorado State.
And you take a look and see how Sonny did do in-state, and he always gets a bunch. Dreyer, Hill, Jones, Narum, and Sondrup from Fort Collins. The remainder of the Rams recruits from in-state. And they recruited 25 kids, 9 from in-state. So we congratulate all of them, including Dexter Wynn of Rampart.
What's coming up?
We'll talk hockey a little bit later, and there's more news on Eugene Robinson and the Falcons.
Like clockwork, the CSU Rams once again produce another banner recruiting session.
Just the coaches, they do extra special, and our players. When those young men come in here and they meet our players and they see the attitude that our players have about winning and the camaraderie and the way our players treat them, I mean, those are the 2 most important selling factors to getting quality kids.
CSU signs a record 26 recruits in all, 25 out of high school, 1 JC transfer, and 9 in-state signees, including Fort Collins tight end James Sondrup.
I mean, I hope to be an impact. I mean, not this year, but eventually. And, do what I can to help.
I think the future is bright. We've got a lot of good young players on our football team right now. Maybe 2 or 3 of these people who are coming in will be able to come up and help us next year. And I think the future is very strong for Colorado State.
It was a humbling experience for me because I'm used to going in and signing an autograph and taking pictures, and now I'm in there trying to show them who I am in the press guides.
Gary Barnett and the CU Buffs did not fare as well. The Buffs signed 14, 12 out of high school, with 2 JC transfers, 5 in all in-state. 3 followed Gary Barnett from Northwestern University.
He said that he was going to be there for me and my family and me while I was up there, so I liked him.
Steve Johns, 9 News.
The University of Washington today turned themselves into the NCAA for recruiting last Sunday, which is supposed to be a quiet day. Also, reports are that Rick Neuheisel has been calling players on the CU roster, possibly tampering with them. Today, Neuheisel reacted to that charge.
With respect to tampering, absolutely categorically false. What I did was say goodbye to some of my former athletes. I'm in this business because of my relationships with young people, and I wanted to have some closure to it. But never, ever did I ever mention anything with respect to transferring or the University of Washington.
Rick Neuheisel, college basketball tonight.
Sonny Lubick and the Rams signed 25 players. 9 are in-staters. They think they shored up the offensive line a great deal, and overall, Lubick likes the kids he'll be coaching.
We are. I just think it was a good year for us. I think the future is bright. We've got a lot of good young players on our football team right now. Maybe 2 or 3 of these people who are coming in will be able to come up and help us next year. And I think the future is very strong for Colorado State.
All right, here are the kids Sonny recruited in-state. Dreyer, Hill, Jones, Narum, and Sondrup from Fort Collins. Sprague, Wallwood, and Dexter Wynn out of Rampart High. By the way, 3 recruiting publications agree Texas did the best job of recruiting this year. The unsettled situation at CU had a dramatic effect on recruiting all throughout the state. Our prep sports specialist Marcia Neville has that story.
Call it the domino effect. CU coach Rick Neuheisel leaves for Washington. Gary Barnett moves in from Northwestern, and Randy Walker takes over for him, leaving recruits like Mullen's John Hawk with big doubts. He's going to be a Sooner instead of a Buffalo.
After Neuheisel left, Oklahoma came at me pretty hard, and I really liked that. They were the first one to call Sunday morning, so I was really impressed with that.
Smokey Hill's Leroy Bias turned away from CU too. He's going to Kansas State. Now, the domino effect may have hit the hardest at Thomas Jefferson High School. And the funny thing is, of all the students they had signing Division I scholarships before this week, none of them was going to CU. Lineman Terrell Bailey had it the hardest. He'd given his commitment to Washington, but Neuheisel wouldn't honor it, so now he's headed to Idaho.
As far as anger, there was none that I had. It was more of actually being hurt.
And then there's Gabe Oderberg, the surprise buff. He originally committed to Barnett at Northwestern. Marcia Neville, prep specialist, News 4 Sports.
College basketball tonight. Buff shot 18% in the first half. Kenny Price did.